Greetings, friends. Valerie Ling here saying hello to you from Facebook if you're watching this video. And also hello to you if you are catching me on the Dr. Burnout podcast. The Dr. Burnout podcast has been going for a few years now. It basically captures some of my, I guess you could call this a kind of vlogging, a blogging thoughts, just mainly about burnout. And it's a pretty relevant episode or Facebook Live for you today. For a while now, I have been feeling out of kilter. You might have noticed some of the posts that have been coming out have just, for a variety of reasons, stage of life, different things in the year, probably some grief and loss that has occurred over the year. And I've also got a HSC student going through, and my oldest child is really spreading their wings as well. And some other weird sort of practical things at home. I haven't been playing the piano, for example. One of our pianos, the keyboard that you can plug in some headphones, we wanted to leave behind at our church, and the actual acoustic piano that we have rarely gets played by me anymore because we have one of our kids actually works as an online tutor. And so, just some really strange sort of things, which those sorts of adjustments and adaptations probably wouldn't have made a lot of difference to how I was feeling. But it has, and it's crept up on me and not really figuring out what they were. And so I decided to take a spoonful of my own medicine. It's something that I usually do at a quarterly personal retreat, which has also dropped off. I didn't do I don't think I did my last scheduled retreat. I kind of mushed it into a few things. I had some speaking engagements, and then I just extended some time off, but I wasn't actually by myself. I was always with people, and I was reflecting on the go and probably just reflecting with, a whole bunch of activity around me as well. And so I took my personal burnout protection quiz today. I have a couple of versions of these. Hit me up if you want them. One of them is just a general personal burnout quiz. There's another one that is a clergy wellbeing quiz. And then I have another one for private practice leaders, right? So all three areas that are relevant to me, but also the people and the work that are very important to me. And I have to admit, I was cringing a little bit taking it because I probably knew that it wasn't going to come out in the normal ranges that it would previously. However, it was so clarifying because once you identify the main tank that is low, you can really just put some effort into it. So I cleared my diary today, which is a hard thing to do when you're a business owner and you're leading others. And, you might feel guilty, or you might feel like you're not showing up. You might actually feel that you're letting the team down. However, these were two what we call people matters conversations. And I know that I show up to those on a regular basis. We have them at a quarterly basis. And I knew that there would be grace and understanding that I needed to clear my diary to basically figure out what is happening to my brain. Hello to you who's watching. And so cleared it, and then went and did the next best thing, which is to do a values alignment exercise. Values, basically, like a life compass, they tell us what are some of the elements or motivations that are really important to us. And once you know what your values are, they tell you what sorts of behaviors that bring you closer to meaning. And because my restore tank, which is about purpose and meaning, was relatively impacted, which is unusual because I'm still doing the work that is very meaningful to me. I'm still very much in the burnout space. In fact, my Clergy Wellbeing Down Under podcast is bringing me so much meaning, and yet my restore tank was quite impacted. And I haven't done this exercise in a while. So if you've been following me, you will know that one of my practices is every year to review my personal well-being roadmap. I look at all of my R's in terms of all the tanks that I need to keep an eye on. And the values that I have feature prominently in that wellbeing roadmap because it guides me to figure out what those R's might be. So, for example, for the longest time, generosity, respect, and freedom have been three values that are hugely important to me. And so, if generosity, respect and freedom I know are my key values, then in my personal well-being roadmap in terms of committed action that I take to relationships, to my work, to leading my team will follow suit. But I haven't done the values alignment exercise in a long time. You know what, I've just assumed that, and I know it changes, that I just felt like I hadn't changed. So I thought, well, I don't think my values would have changed. And so I hadn't done it. And my personal wellbeing roadmap was, crafted with some old data, the outdated version of Valerie. So I took it again this morning. I did two. One is a personal values sort, and then another one is a work engagement values. And they're really quite different. They're so different. The top three for my personal values have shifted, probably because of the season of life that I'm in. As a woman, I recognize that there are some limitations that I have just accepted as being part of my world. But as I've matured, grown older, taken a few risks, pushed out by people who love me to say, go and just give it a go and try it. Some of the things that I've encountered probably in the last 12 months has shifted what I value, because I'm exposed to a little bit more. Some of the hard things that have happened in the last couple of years has maybe clarified for this season what is really important to me, what I want to advocate for, what I want to speak about. So in the personal values, that shifted. And of course, my actual work values have also shifted. It's so different. The things that I'm valuing, the things that I'm desiring, the things that I want to build, the things that I want to create, the things that I want to commit to has shifted. And, once I put that side by side, quite a few things made sense to me. I was making some decisions and pursuing a course of action that was really different and outdated. So, for example, generosity has been a key guiding value for me for a long time, because it used to be, it still is, an area of relative weakness for me. I can be quite calculative in how I choose to invest my time, my trust, my relationships. I can be a fairly self-sustaining sort of an individual and not really look to my left or right to think about what other people need. And so generosity, as I experienced more of that in my life, it really became something that I valued a lot. And I realized that generosity comes in different ways. Your focus, your attention, your encouragement, your words of validation, the things that you look into can be generous for other people in just investing in them. And so, many of the things that I was sort of had put on my personal well-being roadmap very much centered around that. Now, that's a value that hasn't disappeared. But when I've redone my personal values, three other ones have come up that are really quite different. The consistent one is have a high value for growth. That probably wasn't in my top three previously, but it's come up now to be something that's there. And probably because having taken a lot more risks in the last 8 months, I've appreciated that it's not that scary. Well, it still is, but nothing really hugely bad happened from taking a couple of risks, like experimenting with media and experimenting with having an opinion in the public square. So growth came up. And do you know what was interesting? This openness. wanting to really just be in spaces where people are open, not closed-minded, and they display behavior that is honoring to others. That came out more, and again, it wasn't really something that I contemplated, and a lot of the things that have been frustrating me makes a lot of sense now when I look at it, and gives me some clarity and some direction for relooking it. Now, I don't normally rework my personal well-being roadmap mid-year. Like, I just adjust, make sure that every quarter I'm keeping a check on it. However, having seen that my values are shifted, different, I'll need to rewrite it. So I'm glad that I responded to the instinct to cancel and clear meetings today. Oh, I really hope that I've canceled and cleared them all off. I'm very bad at managing my own diary. I should check that, make sure I have canceled everything. Because I think I'm going to be a more present, it'll make sense to my family, to my workmates, to the people that I interact with, when I'm actually heading in a particular direction. There's a lot more aligned in just where my heart, my mind, my soul is. So values calibration. Have you ever done a values alignment exercise? Do you know what are some of the guiding values and principles that you have? Some of them are non-negotiables. You have those, things that are socially required. Like, you can't say, oh, well, today I will give up, the need for integrity, those sort of things. But if you haven't, and you're feeling a little low energy at the moment, it being September for this recording, might be a really great idea to do that. And if you're not quite sure how to do that, send me a message. Take care.